So I've seen this share about politics and religion and how people fight about it and argue about it. And then I keep seeing these things that say, oh, there is this person who is of this religion, that person of that religion, all these different people with all these different religions, and they don't fight or argue about it. So I've been thinking about this for years and years and years. I was like, who are the people fighting about politics and who are the people fighting about religion? And what is the fight really about? Okay? And then you see wars and how countries war. Then you see the underlying causes. Oh, they're fighting or warring over materials or laws, whatever it is they're fighting over. Resources. Resources are usually a number one cause, but there are also discrepancies like, oh, look, you're fighting over nuclear power. Oh, you're fighting over international waters or international space that we deem as international because nobody really can claim or own rights to that space, whether it's water, land, space, air, whatever it is. So then you gotta look up, and I've got a dictionary. I never did, but I could look up the definition of God. I could look up the definition of worship. I could look up the definition of politics. I could look up the definition of diplomacy. All these definitions, and I haven't. I looked up definition of worship. That's the only one I looked up, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's not me. But I did look up all this, or I did not look up anything else because really the question of war or arguments is differing points of view. Oh, well, what's there to argue about? I believe one thing, you believe another thing, they believe another thing, they believe another thing. And you look at the world built on problem solving and catalysts, you ask, well, if we got all these solutions and technology was even better than what we have now, why would they throw away all the technology? Well, just like anything, what happens to something when you throw it away? It's recycled and it's never really gone, is it? So then you question, well, if technology has always been here, then what exactly is all the fighting for? And you look at disease and catalyst. You need a problem to create something. Well, when you look at kids being absorbed, they absorb everything, and you understand that, from athletics and a motor skill ability, high jumping, triathlons, all these things, you go, oh, look, that little kid, less than 10 years old, is an athlete prodigy. This one has learned instruments and how to play Beethoven and all these things, and they're only 5 years old. Look, they're martial arts experts at 7. Oh, they're this, that, and they're just little kids. But they're raised learning this stuff from very young age, and now they're better than adult professionals who have been also trained as kids, but they're not as good as these little kids whose life has centered around whatever skills and abilities and traits that they have now honed. So when you understand that every child is capable of becoming a prodigy, to become a world-renowned expert and can do anything, even children who are sworn, and adults too, sworn to be dead within 6 months or a year or 2 years, or have disease consume their life and they die before the age of whatever, then you see that the person loving that child or the people in that person's life have empowered that person to defy the odds and do things that they were never supposed to or said to be able to have done. Now, back to politics and religion, why can't people have simple conversations, find the stumbling blocks that they don't agree upon, and instead of arguing or warring or worse, they just agree to disagree? I don't know. I can't tell you. But I can show you, I can point out and say, look, there's loyalty, and because of this person's views, beliefs, ideas, impressions, interpretation, if they do not make a stand either for themselves or for what they believe in, then they will be punished. Now see, when it comes to loyalty, where it doesn't matter if you're loyal to a country, a religion, politics, any of it. Let's look at governments. Let's look at a democratic government. This person's in your family, and they're with this political party. So obviously, your loyalty is to that person. Now, because the parties' views differ through time, all of a sudden now they want to turn a swamp that is nature's way of keeping the water clean, and they want to develop that swampland or tundra, because up north in Canada and in Russia and Soviet Union and Europe and all these northern countries that have tundra, that land purifies the water. Okay, so with that said, what exactly will you do? You disown the person or the party? Or do your views just change? Go, hey, look, I like all these things about your religion or your politics, but on this one issue, on land or whatever it is, the law, whatever it is, oh, look, now I have to beg to differ, and I'm not begging, I'm just saying it's just a word. I beg to differ, but I don't agree with this, and I'm entitled, and I have a right to disagree, because this law you're trying to pass is going to affect everybody, and it is not beneficial. But then you look about all the wildlife that has been killed. Let's take the water buffalo or bison that were killed back in the 1800s, 65 million, and quote unquote the government issued a price per hide or head or whatever you want to call it on those killing the buffalo. Now, because we're in a world that's based on relationships, well, what effect did that have on the environment, on the people who lived off those bison, and on the people who didn't? It's kind of like the idea of wolves or hummingbirds. I heard about hummingbirds over in Asia being wiped out, and all of a sudden there were some very real complications that were created because they wiped out an entire species. Now let's pretend there are other races other than the races we now have in the world. What if there are other races and our technology empowered us to be able to, through technology, to be able to explore all of this galaxy? Like, I mean the Milky Way galaxy. And we found out technology and human beings who controlled technology, there was none higher than them. Whoever controlled the knowledge, the power, the ability. Let's look at power. What does power mean? The ability to influence your surroundings, your environment, or to change something at will. So if we created technology and we understood it and we had all this knowledge, and then we found out, oh, look, we can have all these different species alive in the Milky Way, but look, we're the only ones here with this kind of power and ability. That makes us gods. Hey! So now, because I'm running a business, and my business is dependent upon you giving a referral to say, hey, this is a good business. Now my loyalty is dependent upon giving you, your business, a good name. Well, if I was dependent upon your business, why wouldn't I do it? See, when you have a world created based on loyalty or dependency that makes people loyal, then all of a sudden you change the dynamics of that person, of the people that surround that person, like their family and their community, and all of a sudden you can change the entire country based on that simple premise. No, I don't know what premise means. Maybe you should look it up and let me know. Did I use it in the right context of this conversation? It's a one-way conversation. Well, I guess you'll have to comment and leave me your views. Because then you create dialogue. So there's no need to fight about politics or religion, because who's say who's right and who's wrong? What we can find is a world that is based on supply and demand, which everybody sees. A world created that creates problems that turns around and justifies it by creating an economy and people who create businesses to fix those problems. Then you can argue the point about charity and using economics to punish people who are deserving of being punished. Then you can create a justice system that is built on an economy of people who are bad people, without addressing the underlying issues of what is creating their behavior. So this is the world we live in, and I'm not telling you what's right or wrong. I'm just saying when you look at problems and you look at the possibility that there's not a problem that can't be solved, including talking about politics and religion, chances are all those politicians are trying to do the right thing. Just like all those people who are religious, they are all trying to do the right thing. When you have a world where everybody's trying to do the right thing, then all of a sudden you create a need for people to do the wrong thing to be the engine that drives society. And it's not really driving society, it's driving an economic engine that fuels society and the culture that you're in, because we all need a way to make money. So those who created an economic system based on money, in their view, this was the right way to do it. Even natives before, or any culture, before it became civilized or westernized or any of these words that we give advanced societies, you look and you see that, oh, even way back then and all through time, there's always economics. Economics was always in place, no matter what time period, no matter what. And you ask why, and then you look and you see, oh, look, it was needed. And then you look at monopolies and you see how they change dynamics. So if you have a power structure or even a polyarchy that diversifies the central power and places franchise and power, then all of a sudden you see how business is what has created the unbalancing of education, blaming politics, blaming religion, blaming justice, all these things. So, what do? Well, all you can do is look and go, oh, that's fucked up. How do you fix it? Well, each person has to be able to fix it. It's really that simple. Because if you can live any way you want, chances are you're going to live life where you're not at war, where you can raise a family, and where you can be with your family and friends and be able to walk in a community without any problems, because we're social creatures. We're human beings, and we like to socialize when we feel like it. And when we don't feel like it, we stay home, or we'll go do something on our own. Same with relationships. From what I'm to understand, you don't want to be with somebody who needs you. I beg to differ. I think the best relationship is where you're friends and you need each other, knowing and understanding that if I cover all your needs and you cover all my needs, and all that's left is the question of, are you attracted to me to want to cover all my needs? Am I going to be attractive to you where I can cover all your needs? See, an attraction and just the simple want and need to be with somebody who loves you and who you love, well, you don't want to be the teenager that runs around looking to get your needs met by everybody, because not everybody's going to love you. There's a reason why people are used and abused. So you look and you go, well, how am I going to find the right person? I think just by being yourself, and even if you have different views on God, politics, religion, maybe you got different views on everything, but if you both want the same thing, and you both want to learn together, grow together, and do all this stuff. Because when you're in love, your world centers around that person. And all these stories tell me that's true. All these stories, whether they're autobiographies or they're my own personal history or what I see of everything I see. Wow, look at the bees. They all state and show that, oh, you don't need to be around each other 24/7, but there is a truth. If you can't meet all somebody's needs, they're going to find somebody who does. And understanding simple realities is really the most empowering thing that you could ever understand. And who wants to know everything when the best thing is, who are you? Who do you want to be? And who do you want at your side? Because that person at your side, if you cover all their needs and they cover all your needs, and there's still attraction and desire for each other, what more do you want? Do you want to wait until your next life to be able to experience love by a human being? Or do you want to wait until you're dead, not understanding that the reward of this life is being alive and being loved? It's not to love yourself, it's to love yourself and somebody else. Maybe your family, maybe a person you build your family with, maybe if I was to create a source that created problems on purpose, I would not create that source to be visible in my view or anybody else's view. I would create a front. I would create multiple identities so that I could never be found, so that I could never ever be fingered as, oh, there's a culprit right there. I would use the government. I would ban those personal people in the government, knowing that they're elected in, they can do what I want them to do, and then also know that they're not going to be in politics forever, and that they can go and live life doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But in the meantime, I need this law created because I have this business, and I'm going to build another business to fix the things that my business here is destroying, creating this problem. And this business is going to fix that problem, but in a process, it's going to create other problems. Because everything's in relationship, there's nothing that does not have a positive and a negative effect. And because of this, my understanding about 5 steps into the future, I can always create and pre-create businesses to fix the things that this business destroys. I will never be unemployed. I will change businesses. I will change the people running those businesses. I will change the governments, or at least the people in them. I will create capitalism, socialism, Marxism. I will create, what is it called? Dynasties, empires, and monarchies. And I will be able to change all of them too. Because I know about cause and effect, relationships, and a domino theory. So, what exactly do I have to learn? I have to learn how to get along with the people I love from my past, present, and future. Because my past and present and future, they're all today. They're not yesterday. They're not tomorrow. They're today. They're right now. And I am trying to get along with all three of them, past, present, and future, by sharing these points of view. Because when you learn with somebody and you grow with that person, you don't have to wait till you're dead to find heaven. Because maybe this might all be a figment of my imagination, but I'm going to guess, and because I'm not connected, even though I could be connected, but technology's not my God. I gotta ask you, what was here before technology? The world was here. And before that, the universe was here. And before that, well, theoretically, a multiverse as everything continues on and on. So would I be uploaded so that I can live forever? No. The food chain is atrocious. The world is governed by a system I would never have created, and there are people who use and abuse that system knowing what they know. So no, I would not create the system, I would not create these problems, and I would not create a funneling effect just to build an economy. I would instead create people who have the ability to spend time with their families and be able to meet all the needs of the person they build that family with, understanding that, hey, those kids are our future, and they need to know how prejudice is created. They need to know how behavior is created, how decisions are made. They need to know that all through history there has been prodigies created by parents who stay together and understand that the environment shapes that child, and those children are sponges, and they are directly reflective of what's important or what's in their environment. The question is why aren't these children as multiple as they once were long ago? And if you ask that, and you look at supply and demand, and you look at dependency, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not smart. But that means there are people who are smarter than me who already understand this stuff, and there are people who are smarter than me who get that it has to be the other person who has to make a decision on whether or not to base their beliefs about you on who you are, on how far you would go to make things right so you can live in peace with those you love, that you would fix any wrongs in your life and their life, and that you can be a human being and talk with them and even apologize if needed. I think that's what everybody wants, right? I don't need you playing God in my life. I don't need you being the weapon of hate. I think it's it's a matter of understanding if you use lessons to teach people and you're going to hurt them by creating lessons that they're intentionally going to fail, then you're hurting not just them, but all the people around them. And if you use this person to justify technology or lessons or your business, some people might. I'm not some people. If I would fix what's between me, you, and everybody in my past so that I can be the person I am now. The one who's responsible and able to do all this really cool stuff and be responsible and self-governing and not connected. Because I would not want to live forever, but while I'm alive in this world, I believe in nature. So I would not want, because of agreement or contract, to have my brain cells taken from me after I'm dead or while I'm alive and have me uploaded into a new body. That would not be okay with me. And it doesn't mean that if I'm unconscious in a deep coma that you have a right to kill me neither, because this is all just pretend and it's all in my mind. No. Instead, it means being an adult makes all sense in the world. Fixing problems in a world that manufactures problems on purpose and with the consensus of multitudes of people understanding that we need problems to make an economy that is self-sustaining. Well, no, that does not work for me. I would not agree to that system. I would not agree to a system that funnels everybody the way it does. I don't agree with Marxism, socialism, capitalism. I don't agree with any of these. Thanks for making me so stupid and where my life I have pushed everybody away because I thought I was the reason they were getting hurt. Instead, it was me hurting them so that they are safe. Boy, I was stupid. None of that's on me. I think there's 2 girls that I would not stop because I want them to love me so much, and not one woman I was ever with shared her essence with me. So that means I couldn't make any woman happy. That in turn had a domino effect on my self-confidence and made me question not just my sexuality and my sexual prowess, but my ability to meet a woman's sexual needs. Finally took somebody who loved me so much she was willing to share her essence with me. I needed my ex-wife to do that. I needed the mother of my son to do that. I needed her to be in my life without me fearing for her or my son's safety. Thank you for teaching me that their safety is not dependent upon me.